You know, I gotta say, this episode has everything. Everything.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Will, and I'm back to do my episode 4 spoiler review for Marvel Studios, Loki, titled The Nexus Event. This is a spoiler review, as all of these episode reviews have been, so if you haven't watched the episode, please pause the video, go watch the episode first, and then come back and hear my thoughts on episode 4. We're just going to jump right into it now, so that was your spoiler warning. So episode 4 is entitled The Nexus Event. This picks up immediately after the events of episode 3, entitled Lamentus, where Loki and Sylvie are trapped on a dying planet with no way to get off. And pretty much after the arc that was the only exit on the planet blows up, they're pretty much screwed. So there's a little depression here and there. They're basically just kind of left to their own devices and don't know what they're going to do. While at the same time, Mobius, Hunter B-15, and Judge Renslayer are all waiting to try to find some clue as to their location across the timeline, because no Nexus events have popped up due to the fact they are actually in an apocalyptic event. It's not until there's a little bit of a spark between Loki and Sylvie. Loki feels bad about their current situation and actually shows some remorse and a level of caring for Sylvie. Their genuine feelings for each other, so to speak, seems to be the trigger of this Nexus event, causing their location to be known by the TVA and subsequently captured and rescued from dying. So at least they're not dead. They are taken back to the TVA facility, which Mobius, rightfully feels like his trust in Loki has been betrayed, so to speak. Either way, Loki and Sylvie are separated into different holding cells, and Loki's actually thrown into kind of a weird time loop prison, so to speak, as a way of cooling off, according to what Mobius said. And this is where we get kind of our first shocker of the episode, where Jamie Alexander, who is best known as Sif, makes her return to the MCU. She hasn't been seen in the MCU since Thor: The Dark World, I want to say. I think she did an episode, a guest spot on an episode of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which really didn't go anywhere because it's not really tied anymore to the overarching MCU anymore. So this is really her first time being back as Sif. And it was really fun seeing her. I was surprised to see that she made a cameo. I'm really happy, and I hope she's back in more stuff. Even though this was kind of a past event in Loki's life where he basically gets kicked in the dick multiple times. If you've ever seen Dragon Ball Z Abridged, you can play the audio of Vegeta getting kicked in the dick.
He keeps kicking me in the dick. Why? Why does he keep kicking me in the dick?
But it's a really funny clip. It's really cool to see Sif, and it kind of slaps Loki in the face a little bit more with his past misgivings and why he does mischievous things. He craves attention, and Sif constantly tells him, like, you're always going to be alone. It's just it's a way the TVA is using to kind of break down his confidence, get him to the point of being ready to talk. At the same time, we start seeing Hunter B-15. She's starting to feel the effects of Sylvie's enchantment, where her past is being revealed to her, and it's the same thing that happened with the other Minuteman hunter, I think C-22, who was captured by Sylvie, and she was the one who gave up the location of the Timekeepers. Renslayer tells Mobius that she's dead, or that she lost her mind, to the point of not being able to speak, which was very surprising to Mobius, because she seemed fine when they first rescued her. So it's starting to lay the seeds of doubt for Renslayer and the TVA in the eyes of Mobius, because Loki warns Mobius that the TVA is lying to him. And this just kind of gets compounded with how quickly Renslayer is ready to just erase the Lokis and be done with it. And he does a little bit of digging himself and comes to the realization that Hunter C-20 was killed, but was killed for other reasons. And he goes to rescue Loki, or to confront Loki about what did he mean that the TVA is lying to him. It's the same information that Loki receives from Sylvie, that everyone in the TVA is a variant just like that, just like he is, just like Sylvie is, whole 9 yards. At the same time, Sylvie is freed by Hunter B-15, who wants to understand more about what Sylvie did to her. And Sylvie was just telling her she can't implant memories. She can only work with what's there. So Mobius frees Loki. Unfortunately, Renslayer realizes that Mobius has betrayed her and subsequently prunes Mobius in front of Loki, which is really heartbreaking because you see Tom Hiddleston's face, it's like he lost his best friend. And they really kind of reconciled just moments before this happens. And it just, man, Renslayer needs to go. She is on the list. She is on the list with Hayward. She is on the list with U.S. Agent. She is now on the list. And so she takes Loki and Sylvie to the Time Masters. We actually get our reveal of the Time Masters. But we did get a reveal earlier, but it was a little bit more clouded when Renslayer initially goes to see the Time Masters at the beginning of the episode. We also see at the beginning of the episode, we get a little bit of more context as to Sylvie's backstory with her life on Asgard before Renslayer, as a Minuteman, comes and takes Sylvie away and completely erases her timeline at that point. So we get our confrontation between the Time Masters and Sylvie and Loki, and it's very reminiscent of like Wizard of Oz. Right before the execution, B-15 shows up, frees Sylvie and Loki, and also arms Sylvie with her sword. There's a battle that commences between the Minutemen and Sylvie and Loki, and they're able to dispatch the Minutemen. They don't necessarily prune them all, and there's a really cool fight sequence between Renslayer and Sylvie. They've got history, as you saw at the beginning of the episode. She was the one who actually took Sylvie from Asgard, from her timeline, and pruned it. So once they kind of kill the Time Masters, they're actually robots. Like I said, very Wizard of Oz type feel. You've got a man behind the curtain or somebody behind the curtain. We don't really get a revelation of that before Loki has the chance to admit this sort of affection or this sort of admiration. He is unfortunately pruned. He is disintegrated by Renslayer right in front of Sylvie's eyes, which before she can do the same to Sylvie, Sylvie disarms her and tells Renslayer that she wants to know everything. Why are the Time Masters fake? Who's really in charge? I mean, I'm just speculating. Those are the questions. But that's basically what she's laying out. And that's where the episode freaking ends. Gotta say, yes, when Tom Hiddleston was like, episodes 4 and 5 are definitely going to kind of reshape the way the series is. No joke. Loki is subsequently pruned, subsequently erased from history. But again, so you think. Because post-credit scene, this is the first post-credit scene we got for the series so far, Loki shows up in kind of an apocalyptic version of New York, and we know it's New York because you can see a crumbling version of Avengers Tower in the background, and is confronted by multiple versions of Loki, but all played by different people. There's an old Loki who is Richard E. Grant's character, but he looks like he is playing a very old version of Loki, so we're going to call him Old Loki. We got Kid Loki in the middle, this young kid, probably like 12, 13. He's holding an alligator who also has a Loki helmet on, so I'm assuming that's Alligator Loki. And then we got a kind of a buffer Black Loki. Yeah, we'll just go Black Loki. Black Loki. Black Loki. Anyway, but he's confronted by these four, and Loki obviously asks him, "Is he dead?" And they say, "No, but you will be if you don't come with us." So I think this is where we're also going to encounter Mayor Loki or Citizen Loki, which is the one we see in the trailer, who has like the suit on. And it's like, what did you expect? That part in the trailer. I'm pretty sure that's where we're going to encounter in the next episode. A couple things that this episode really lays out. Number one, the timekeepers are not there. They might have been there at some point in time, but clearly they've been replaced by robots who are just a facade for somebody. I'm still thinking it's Kang. At this point, I don't think it's another Loki. I'm starting to lean towards this is our introduction of Kang the Conqueror. It just makes more sense. And Renslayer is obviously working for him. She must have known that they were androids. I'm pretty sure she knows who's really behind it. At this point, it makes the most sense with 2 episodes left. It'd be an easy way to introduce Kang. He's a villain that deals with time travel and timeline shenanigans. It makes sense to introduce them now, get audiences used to this sort of person who's going to all of a sudden be the villain in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, where it just wouldn't make sense without some sort of prior explanation, at least with the way that you have the ability to do that with these series on Disney Plus leading up to the movies when they come out. I do like the fact that Sylvie is not necessarily a villain. I didn't really think she was a villain. Like, after episode 2, I really didn't feel like she was a villain. I really hope that she makes it through the series and that we get her to be more of a prominent character going forward in the MCU. I think she deserves a win. Looking at all of her flashbacks, especially with the knowledge that we have of just, you feel bad and you understand why, because the TVA are a bunch of assholes. I hope Mobius is also in that apocalyptic waypoint that Loki was set to when he was pruned, because to kill off Mobius without him getting his jet ski, I'm going to feel real mad, because I like Owen Wilson. I think Owen Wilson has done a fantastic job as Mobius. I don't know what Mobius would do beyond this if the character was to come back, being that all these different employees of the TVA are just variants. I hope that they get to return to their existing timeline. Maybe that'll happen once the multiverse is fully formed, because let's be real, by the end of the series, the multiverse is going to be there and probably out of control. Where and when were they sent when Loki was pruned? Like, where are we? Because clearly this is where all of these previous Lokis were sent to. Was it just Lokis, or are we talking anyone who's been pruned? Is this just like a Sakaar situation where it's like a garbage dump of the multiverse, that everything that just lands there is there? And is this where the series is going to wrap up in this situation, on this playing field, compared to where we are with the TVA? Very exciting stuff. I really like the episode. I like the fact that Loki's interaction with himself or with Sylvie is what caused a Nexus event. So theoretically, this means that this version of Loki is also a Nexus being, very, very similar to Wanda Maximoff that we learned in WandaVision is a Nexus being as well. So those are two things that I'm hoping get satisfying answer to in the next 2 episodes. I really like seeing Jamie Alexander come back as Sif. I feel like Sif was an underused character in the MCU, and hopefully we'll get her to make a cameo in Thor: Love and Thunder as well. I really like where the series is going. I thought it just took a complete left turn. People being pruned seem to not be completely erased from the timeline. Maybe people can't be erased from the timeline. Maybe that's a thing. That could damn sure be a thing. Maybe it's like the whole pruning thing is BS, and it's just a bunch of people being dropped off and random events, maybe random apocalyptic events, and that's what's happening here. But overall, I'm thinking the last 2 episodes are going to rock. I'm really glad that we got to see Jamie Alexander come back. I'm really surprised with not only Loki being pruned, but the post-credit scene. I kind of had a feeling the Timekeepers weren't alive or weren't a real thing. So that wasn't as big of a shock as like Mobius being pruned. Because remember, Mobius being pruned was before we saw what happened to Loki. So if y'all didn't have the post-credit scene, I would have thought you just killed your 2 main characters, and the rest of the series is just going to follow Sylvie, and that's how they're going to wrap the series up. That would have been a bold decision. Those are my thoughts of episode 4. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching this and all of my videos. I hope you'll take the chance to go back and watch my other spoiler reviews for the other episodes of Loki as well. I would really appreciate that if you would take the time to check those out, as well as check this one out, as well as share it with your friends. Let them know what I do. I'm inching my way to 300 subscribers, so if you would subscribe to the channel, that would really help me out. You can follow me on all the social media that's listed at the end of the video as well. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I will see you back here next week for my episode 5 review, and I hope you will join me then. So until next time, I will catch you later. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you did like this video, why not give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends? You can subscribe to the channel by clicking on my gorgeous little face right over there. You can follow me on all the various social media platforms right below. And last but certainly not least, if you've got a few extra minutes, why not check out one of the lovely videos floating right over here. Later.